Welcome back. Sunday morning, 11:50, 10 minutes before high noon here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, also broadcasting live on the internet. Glad to have you all aboard. Our final segment here of the January 10th show, a little section that we like to call Right On. Here's the Right On for today. This is a pre-record. I'm doing this show early, recording it on Thursday. It was a nasty day when we started, when I woke up this morning and looked outside. I had a lot going on and opened my door. It was frigid. Snow was blowing. It was hard to get around. It was one of those days, Grover, where you walk with your head down. You know what I mean? Like you put your face up and the wind blows in your eyes, unless you've got some sort of eye protective, gear on. You just can't. So it causes you to sort of put your head down and slump a little bit and kind of get all grouchy and all hunkered down. And I had that feeling when I opened my door and got blasted with the cold air, right? I mean, it's just kind of that reminder that sometimes the elements are tough, right? Like we're pretty tough people, and we have a lot of conversation about worrying if we're going to destroy the planet or not.
It's like you open the door and you get a slap in the face.
You open the door and you get on right there. You know, we have a lot of conversation about if we're going to destroy the planet or not, and it's a worthwhile conversation because we got a lot of bombs, we got a lot of CO2. We've got a lot of potential to do trouble to the planet. But every once in a while, we flash back 150, 200 years to the time when people weren't fearful about destroying the planet, but were worried about being destroyed by the planet, right? Something shifted in the last 150 years. People used to worry about, the volcano, the tsunami, which they still do, a lot of parts of the world, an illness, some sort of a sand trap, not a sand trap, but some sort of a sinking sand. What do they call that? Some sort of a
quicksand.
Some sort of quicksand. Yeah, you're just walking along and you collapse, or a sinkhole that you fall into, or a well. You sort of, or a wild animal comes and destroys your family. People still worry about in villages in Africa. So there's that whole human impulse to be worried that the elements, that the world, that the planet's going to get you. Things have changed a lot, right? Now we have to worry about us getting the planet. So that's a whole new dilemma that we find ourselves in. But some days you're reminded, even in this high-tech culture that we live in here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, that it can smack you. So you open the door, and here's what got me on the right on today. Here's where I said, you know what? Right on. Good for that guy. It's my newspaper guy. Started ordering the newspaper, have it delivered to my house. It's really convenient. Like the RSS feed's convenient, as I've said before. Nothing like that guy bringing it right to my house. It's almost as good as the postal delivery guy. So I was thinking about that too. Like no matter what the weather, rain, sleet, snow, the guy's going to show up. He's going to drop that news. He's going to drop that mail brings it right to my door. Brings it right to my door. So I open the door up, and I look down, and it's nasty and blowing snow out. And I look down, and just as I expected, in a wrapper is my newspaper. You know what it made me think? There's people who do their jobs. There's people who fulfill their commitments. There's people who, even when it gets ugly, even when it gets tough, even when it gets hard, you know what they do? They do what they said they were going to do. They fulfill their commitment. And it caused me to sort of smile, not just because I got my paper and it was close to my door where I don't have to go out, outside in the snowies, but I said, good for that guy. He did what he said he was going to do, and there was nothing easy about it today, right? Like he's up there before the sun is shining in the sky. He's out there when the wind is blowing, and he does it. Then I'm driving down the road, and you see the snow truck drivers. You think about all of the snowplow drivers. You think about all these people in our world, moms and dads and workers and hospital people and fire truck drivers and construction workers and school teachers and business people and pastors and the whole life, who in the midst of it all, they say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the thing that I said I was going to do. I'm going to fulfill my duty. And I think too often we sort of, sometimes we get that cripes that come on the you got to be kidding me segment in here. And sometimes I get a little snarky about the fact that, things don't work out so well. But truthfully, most of the time, you know what people do? They do what they're supposed to do. And I'm not trying to do one of those, one of those Bud Light commercials, to the guy who does what he's supposed to do. But seriously, to the people who get out there and do what they say they're going to do, to the people who accomplish it, to the people who just put their heads down and move forward and do it anyway. Today, on this snowy, ugly Thursday, broadcasting on a Sunday, to the board operator, radio personality who gets up in the morning and drives through all that traffic, and it's not easy and it's a pain in the neck and does it anyway. Right on, Grover. Right on. So, Grover, you're the guy today. It's guys like you getting up and doing the thing. It's the parents that get up in the middle of the night. It's the workers who go the extra mile. I was talking to a friend of mine this week, and he had one of these experiences. He had to buy a new furnace. Buying a new furnace is never a good thing. He calls Xcel Energy, calls the gas people. He's pricing it all out. Said, you wouldn't believe it. I talked to this one woman. She was great, got me in touch with one other guy. And you know what? They did everything they said they were going to do. And coming out of the age of the shenaniganers, the liars, the cheaters, and the shortcutters, to those people who do their thing, to those people who make it work today, to those people who say, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And coming out of the cripes that come out, and you got to be kidding me from earlier in the show today, to those people who work even when they don't get the tip, to those people who do it anyway, right on. Good for you. Like, it's easy to see that when, there's certain professions that you see that in, right? And you can say to those people, good for you. But today, tomorrow, when you look around and you see people who are just doing the thing, I'm not trying to be all Mike Rowe, that guy from the Dirty Jobs show, where he goes around with these people who do the dirty jobs and he says to them, like, thanks for doing this. But seriously, there's a lot of work that goes on in this world. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of commitment that it takes to be the kind of people who do what they're supposed to do. And to the youngsters that are listening, to the impressionable young minds, to the college students, to the ever increasing number of graduate students, in the world that we live in, where we're going into increasingly knowledge-based and specialty-based economy, where people do just a simple one little thing, don't look past the high import, the significance, the meaningfulness that comes out of people who do what they say they're going to do. All the attention goes, to the stars. All the attention goes to the special people. I get that stuff. You pick up a newspaper and all you see, on there are people who sort of have it going special and everything's working out. But that's not how the world's built. It's the salt of the earth. It's the straightforward people. It's those who do what they say they're going to do, and they do the hard thing. And to those people who demonstrate some sort of faith and some sort of hope and some sort of love and some sort of possibility, I say to you, in a world that's full of people who don't like to do that and can't do it, and full of people who benefit from the hard work that you do, good for you and right on. That's what I'm thinking today, Grover. Feel pretty good about it. I'm going to go fly in an airplane tomorrow, and I'm going to say to myself, good for that pilot, getting up and doing what he's supposed to do. I'm paying attention to the log. Getting a good night's sleep the night before. To those guys, yeah, that's what it's. That's worth cheering on. And in a world in which the superstars, the special people, get the cheering, I want to say to those of us who have duty to accomplish, those of us who have a job to do, when you do it, right on. When you shut that computer today, when you close that truck door and you get home, when you sit down on that couch and you look over at somebody, I hope they can say to you, good for you. Right on. Way to do what you said you were going to do. Making the kind of world that we all want to live in. May that be your encouragement on this Sunday. Doug Pagitt Radio, religious radio, for those who do things that are right on AM 950 at DougPagittRadio.com. Talk to you next week.